Hi guys, this is Lee from Fresh Astrology. It is Wednesday, April 25th, and we've got the moon in Virgo and Venus newly in Gemini. Right now they're squaring one another, but they're both linking in a positive way. Not that squaring's always bad. It's a mathematical relationship they have to one another, and it throughout the ages, people notice sometimes tension or something can feel more challenging. If they represent people in your world, then you might see those two people deciding something together, maybe with not in full agreement or something like that. I would say the overall universal message for all of us is it actually works well for your image. And this is so counterintuitive to our culture, especially Western culture. It depends on, I know I speak to a global audience, so, but certainly in the West. And I suspect even this is more of a global thing, especially for men. But even women are chastised for showing emotion or speaking from their heart. It cannot always go well for people, especially publicly or at work or something like that. But it's actually a nice time to communicate something from your heart and in harmony with your emotions. Because the way people are feeling right now is that they're feeling a very particular way, and the best thing is not to ignore it. We often do ignore how we feel. That's both like if we feel sick or also if we just feel strongly about something, we struggle with how to express that or whether or not to express it at all. And so that's going on in this takes different forms. We've got so many people on the planet. This can manifest itself in so many different ways. Excuse me, itchy nose. What I notice, I rarely have time to go look at what other people are doing on YouTube. I just don't have the time. So sometimes and then I have people that I've just known on YouTube for almost 10 years. I tend to go there. So I don't see a lot of the newbies out there, but when I do go and just kind of drop in, and kind of take a listen, what I notice is a lot of people focus when there's a square, or even the people who are using astrology signs, the zodiac, to do their tarot readings. They'll talk about if there's anything that comes up that's like a challenge, they'll start talking about fighting right away. And it's true that there are going to be people and groups of people on the planet who, under these influences, will fight or do really underhanded things. But that's not the only way. I just want to make sure that we broaden our definition of challenge, or even if there's a kind of a face-off with another person or another group of people, that we start to redefine what challenge means, because I literally think it's important for the planet. I think it's important for saving us to understand that conflict of opinion, a conflict of a way of thinking, does not have to equal combat. And we can sit down together and have conversations about things where we're not necessarily on the same page, and it doesn't have to equal a fight. And if we do feel jealous of someone or we do feel hurt, it doesn't have to equal a fight. It can equal healing for the person who's hurt. It can equal healing for the relationship involved. So it doesn't have to, 1 + 1 does not equal 2 in this camp. We have to think multidimensionally, and we have to think more broadly about the possibilities. The great religions of the world, and I include all of them, they all emphasize forgiveness. And even if you're not in a organized religion. A lot spiritual practice in and of itself, just on a very personal level, involves personal evolution and growth and forgiveness. And I think the challenge can always be very internal when I feel hurt, when I feel sick, when I feel challenged. There's a choice. How do I respond? That's the challenge internally for us. We always have a choice how to respond. There will be people around us from time to time who misbehave or who say bizarre things that are hurtful or do bizarre things that are, can seem challenging to us, to you. And the way you win is not to fight back. The way you win is to go inside and challenge yourself to find the spiritual meaning. Challenge yourself to find the spiritual response. Challenge yourself to forgive yourself and the other person and the situation itself. Look for forgiveness in these challenging times. Look for forgiveness, not from someone else to you, but within yourself. Forgive yourself first and foremost, and then look outside and see who you can forgive today. And over the next week, challenge yourself to forgive everything that you come across and find the most humble, forgiving solution to everything. And reframe it all in that way rather than, someone's out to get me, someone's going to undermine me. I see that a lot in the tarot, and I'm not dissing tarot. I mean, it's bizarrely accurate sometimes. Accurate in the sense of the situation, but not the definition. The definition's at the in the eye of the beholder. So if a reader is not reframing things in a form of forgiveness and self-growth, and the reader maybe in his or her personal life is in a scary place where things do seem combative, then the reading's going to sound combative. And I just challenge all of us to rise above that way of thinking. It's a whole way of thinking. A way of thinking that, who's going to be out to get me today, or who do I need to be fearful of tomorrow, is a paradigm. It's a way that we can choose to think, and it's a way that we can choose not to think. We can choose to think a very different way. And I challenge all of us, you, me, all of us, to look at challenges differently. No one's out to get us, and if they are, it doesn't matter, because we are on a spiritual path. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't influence us. We can be at peace at all times, or striving toward that, and not in a hard striving kind of way. Maybe striving is the wrong word, but we can be always moving toward that, and always taking a step back to reframe. Any situation, any person's motives, we can step back and say, I don't know what that person's motives are, and it's none of my business what the motives of that person happen to be. I choose to do this because it feels peaceful to me. It feels good to me, and I feel at peace with myself. That's the way to reframe everything right now. See if you can do it. It's a challenge, at least for the next few days.